for the changes that are taking place.
So we've been filming out here for an hour and a half, and this is the result. And it gives you an idea of why it's so hard to operate here.
But there's also a story about getting to where we're going. It took us 5 weeks to get to the front of the glacier. Only 4 people had ever been there before. It has taken years of preparation to get the scientists out here. And because of all the delays, what I didn't expect was to be camping on ice for 5 weeks.
It's shocking, and you know, we should all be upset by what's happening here.
This is a really important story. This is something people need to know. And if we can understand it, we can do something about it.
How can they make decisions about the future of Afghanistan when they do not even allow women to be in those conferences?
Нет, Россия не белая, не пушистая. Россия такая, какая она есть. И мы не стыдимся показывать себя такими, какими мы есть.
The way to counter Russia is through strength.
Everyone was white, and I said, where's everybody else? And I promised myself I'd fight for equality the rest of my life.
Politics in Kenya has been around people who have brands. Either your father was this or your father was that.
When big names talk, they talk to the BBC.
This is BBC News, the headlines. In a day of ceremony and sorrow, the United Kingdom and the world has bidden farewell to Queen Elizabeth II. King Charles followed the procession of his mother's coffin from Westminster Hall as the state funeral began. The coffin was carried into Westminster Abbey for a service attended by 2,000 guests, including 500 foreign leaders, royals and dignitaries. All the generations together, the Queen's grand and great-grandchildren took their places.
I'm Lucy Hockings, live at Windsor. After the spectacular pageantry in London, the day has ended here at Windsor, the home of the Queen since childhood.
Crowds gathered to watch the Grenadier Guards accompany the late Queen to her last resting place. And in the last act of a day laden with ceremony, the wand of the Lord Chamberlain was broken, symbolising the end of the late Queen's reign.
The late, most high, most mighty and most excellent monarch, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
The Queen was then lowered into the royal vault ahead of a private family burial. Good evening and welcome to BBC News. Queen Elizabeth has made her final journey from London to Windsor, where she'll be buried with her late husband, the Duke of Edinburgh. It follows a day of the highest ceremony not seen in this country for nearly 60 years, mixed with private sorrow as the state funeral was held in Westminster Abbey, the building in which Queen Elizabeth was married and crowned. King Charles, along with other members of the royal family, walked behind her coffin as it was taken into the Abbey from Westminster Hall, where it had been lying in state. Hundreds of dignitaries, including world leaders, joined members of the royal family and the public at the service. In his sermon, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, said the Queen had touched a multitude of lives during her 70-year reign. We begin tonight with our royal correspondent Nicholas Witchell on the state funeral today, held for Queen Elizabeth.